Hello there, Hoopers. It's Hummingbird. I am here to make my first tutorial on waist hooping. So I'll be teaching this to the left because I hoop dominantly to the left. I'll try to throw in a hooping to the right kind of tips and tricks, but I really am starting to learn everything to the right myself, so I am no master. So hooping to the left on your waist. You start off with the hoop firmly against your back. You want to plant your right foot in front of your left. Now, the one thing that people think when they first start to waist hoop is that since the hoop is round, you need to dramatically round your body, which you do not. Essentially, if you think about it, our hips are rounded, but our front and our back are not. So we need to do a forward and back and forward and back kind of motion instead of a really roundabout motion. And the other thing is you have a pusher and a puller hip. If you hoop to the left like me, your pusher hip will be your right hip, and I'll show you what that looks like. So firmly against your back, right foot in front of your left, and you want to give it a level little shove, because if you just throw it too hard, it's not gonna, or if too diagonal, it'll just fall right down. So you want to make sure it's up against your back, your open space is in front of you, and you want to keep it nice and level and just give it a little shove. Start moving forward and back. And if you look, my right hip is pumping, pumping, pumping. And my left hip is kind of pulling it around. So I have a pusher and a puller. Now, like I said in my tutorial, whichever direction you hoop dominantly in, to the right or the left, it always helps to spin in the same direction that the hoop is spinning. So since I hoop to the left, turning my body in a circle to the left also will help to slow the hoop down, so I can figure out exactly the way that my body needs to move and where it feels comfortable to have the hoop travel on my waist. So hooping to the left, you start to spin as soon as the hoop is against your back. You give it a little shove with your hip. That's the other thing, is timing. Timing is everything with hooping. So you figure out when the right time to pump that hip, and that will keep the hoop going. So the other thing, if the hoop starts to fall down, you can just pump that right hip a little bit faster, and it'll come back up. As it falls down, just pump that hip a little bit faster. And that might seem like it's a little bit easy to do, but it's really not. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of time to get the hoop to come back up if it falls down. So don't get frustrated. Well, you're probably going to get frustrated, but try not to get frustrated because it takes a lot of practice. Practice makes improvement. The other thing I'm going to say about waist hooping is you want to be aware of where your open spaces are inside the hoop. And what I mean by that is where my hands are going in. These are my open spaces. And this will give you the proper timing for where you can put your arms in to learn how to bring it up from your waist up to your chest or shoulders. And chest and shoulder hooping will be my next tutorial. But that's a really good way to learn how to get into that. So be aware of where your open spaces are. That can also help you with learning how to bring it up with your hand off of your body. Go from an on body to off body move like this. My open spaces, and I can bring the hoop up off of my body. And then I can also bring it back down onto my body. But it's always always really a good idea to be aware of where your open space is so you can work on timing. Because it's always timing that gets you from one move to the next. You figure out where the right time is to grab the hoop and bring it up, or you figure out the right time to shove your arms in to keep it going up on your shoulders. So with waist hooping, it's all about nice and level little toss. You don't want to throw it too hard when you start. Make sure you're doing a forward and back motion with your hips rather than a super extreme roundabout motion. And also spinning to the left or whichever direction is your dominant direction. Spinning with the hoop always helps to slow the hoop down so you can figure out how your body needs to be positioned. And just practice, because that is really, all I can say that will really help you. Also, videotaping yourself and then watching and critiquing yourself can help you figure out what you might be doing wrong or what might help, or maybe you're doing everything right and you just don't think you are. I know that's happened to me a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I look so silly doing this, but actually when I recorded myself, it looked pretty cool. So, just don't underestimate yourself and practice, because you can learn anything. You can do anything you want to do. And I guess that's going to conclude my waist hooping tutorial. If you have any questions or comments or requests, please send it in. Thanks for watching. Bye.